Would you like to accelerate your career and reach your full potential in just minutes a day? Welcome to the LEADx Show with New York Times best-selling author and Inc. 500 entrepreneur, Kevin Kruse.
How can you ramp up your online networking and connections on LinkedIn, especially if you don't interact with that many people in real life? And here's another question. How do you manage people who know more about the work than you do? Hey everyone, Kevin Kruse here. Welcome to the Friday Wrap-Up Show. I'm going to answer those two questions in just a minute. But first, guess what I just got this week? I got my groceries delivered from Amazon Fresh. No, they're not a sponsor of the show. We still don't have sponsors on this show. But I was amazed. For $15 a month, because I'm a Prime customer, I was able to order a bunch of groceries right on my cell phone, right on my smartphone. 24 hours later, they showed up. No problem. At my door. No other delivery charge or tips or anything. It was just sitting there in bags. And I just placed another order yesterday. It's going to show up tomorrow morning. So convenient. So convenient. I also started using Blue Apron, that dinner service. I joke that I practically don't need to leave the house at all anymore. First of all, I bring this up for the productivity point. I am going to save so much time, going into that grocery store. I was used to go in several times a week. I don't have to do that anymore. This world is changing so that we can push a button and get a car brought to us in 5 or 10 minutes. Thank you, Uber and Lyft. We can now get groceries. We can get meals. We can get a handyman. Whatever it is, it's an amazing time. And I encourage you to consider these services to achieve extreme productivity. It's not always about your to-do list. It's often about your stop doing list. And now I've stopped going to the grocery store. But this ties into another message. I love to use these wrap-up shows to say, congratulations on being awesome, on being a listener, on being the CEO of your own career. Because we're quickly moving into a world where there's just two kinds of people. The people who get their groceries delivered, and then the people who spend all day long in the grocery store shopping for the other people. Do you want to get your meals and your groceries delivered every day, or do you want to spend your day in a warehouse packing up these orders or delivering them, manually at 5 o'clock in the morning? So think about that. I jokingly say the robots are coming for your job, but it's not really that far off in the future. It's not really that funny as a joke. Which side do you want to be on? Which side do you want to be on? You have to be a lifelong learner to stand out and to get ahead. The LEADx Show is the smartest way to start your day. Will you tell your friend? Bring out your smartphone, send your best mate a text right now. Say, yo, LEADx is the smartest way to start your day. Listen in. And that brings me to our iTunes review of the week. Obviously, the single best favor you can do for me is to hop on up to iTunes, search up the LEADx Show, click subscribe, and then just give us a rating. Only takes about a minute or two. So here's one from Melissim1. I've just recently listened to a few of the podcasts during my daily commute. Each one has resulted in at least one key takeaway that I was able to immediately implement to improve my leadership skills. I look forward to hearing more. And here's another from Kermit Jr., one of the few shows I actually prioritize to listen to. Kermit Jr., Melissim1, thank you so much for those reviews. And because I read it out loud, of course, you get a free t-shirt. Just send me an email. I'm at kevin@leadx.org. And give me your snail mail address via email. We'll ship you a t-shirt right out. So let's get to these questions. I got a question from Sean. He emailed and said, not too long ago, you had a guest on that discussed the use of LinkedIn and networking. Being in Alaska and comparing myself to larger markets, my professional network is guppy bowl shallow. Love that phrase. especially on LinkedIn, a tool rarely used in the Alaska talent area. I have focused on growing relationships whenever the opportunity arises, but I suspect I could do a better job with online networking. What are some tips to attract online networking engagement and expansion, especially when your locality doesn't utilize online networking tools? Sean. All right, Sean, thank you for the question. So absolutely, I think your social network, your social capital is the number 2 biggest secret to success. And LinkedIn is a powerful online tool, social networking tool for those of us who are working professionals or even students who want to become a working professional. In fact, my own oldest daughter, Amanda, just came home last week, and she's interviewing today for some internships. And I told her, in addition to a resume, a lot of people don't even look at resumes, separate pieces of paper, attachments, etc. They just go right to your LinkedIn profile. And even if you're just a student, you should have a LinkedIn profile and start building it up. So how do you get to over 500 connections on LinkedIn? And that should be your goal, because then you get the little 500 plus symbol on your profile and you look like a winner, you look like a player. So I would say it doesn't matter if you're in Alaska or anywhere on the planet. LinkedIn is global. Therefore, you go on LinkedIn, set up your profile, make sure you've got it filled out, and then you use the search function and try to remember all the people you grew up with, all your friends from childhood. Well, they're adults with jobs now. Look them up if you can find them, invite them to connect. Get to college, think about your roommates, your dorm mates, people in your fraternity, your sorority, any activities you had. Heck, you could even do your favorite professors and just reach out to them and invite them to connect. I know people who went to small to mid-sized colleges that just they just search on their college name and they email all the strangers and just say, hey, we both went to whatever college, would love to connect on LinkedIn. Not everybody's going to say yes, but you will be shocked at how many people do say yes. And of course, think about every boss you ever had, every colleague and peer and teammate you've ever had at work. Reach out to them and invite them to connect. And again, I've seen people say, hey, we both worked at Axiom, even though we never worked together. Would love to connect in the spirit of networking. And a lot of people, even though they don't know you personally, will accept your connection. And then you can even search on things you're interested in. So I looked up Sean and connected to Sean since he sent me this email. And I saw that he has experience and interests in consulting, in robotics, in strategic planning, and some other things. You can just search for those terms, let's say robotics, and LinkedIn's going to show you groups that you could join that are dedicated to robotics. It's going to show you all kinds of people that have the word robotics in their job title or company name. And again, just because you haven't met them yet, in the spirit of online networking, you join the groups and then connect to the other people in the groups. You can always search for people who are writing articles and blog posts and putting status updates on areas that you're interested in. For me, it would be productivity, leadership, time management, career, blogging, authoring, podcasting, whatever. I could come up with 20 or 30 search terms, and then the people that match, I could follow them, I could connect to them. If they're writing articles, I can give a thumbs up to the article and write a positive comment and then ask them to connect. If you do all these kinds of things, you're going to have over 500 connections in no time. I think I'm almost at 17,000 LinkedIn connections as of now. And I don't initiate them. I'm just saying yes to the people who reach out to me. Not everybody has my platform, but you can build up really quickly. Last big secret. There is a group on LinkedIn. They're known as Lions, Lion. It stands for LinkedIn Open Networker. Now, they believe philosophically that we should all be connected to everyone. It doesn't matter if we know each other, worked with each other, or not, because they believe in the power of loose ties, loose connections. So it doesn't really matter if we know each other. It matters that we're connected and I can see your friends and your friends' friends and you can see mine. And that in the spirit of, 1960s free love, but it's the LinkedIn version, we should all be helping each other out. So if you want to get a lot of connections fast, Just search up Open Networker, and you're going to find literally thousands of people who are guaranteed to accept your connection. So hopefully you found that helpful, Sean. And again, Sean, if I didn't already send you a free t-shirt, hit me up, brother, because I love these questions. And here's another one. Okay, so here's a management question of the week. How do you manage someone who knows more about the work than you do? Now, this can be a problem, and I get this question a lot. You know, there's an old adage that leadership comes down to competence and care. If you're my boss, if you're my leader, and you're really competent at your job, you know what you're doing, I respect that, you care about me, I'm going to love you as a leader. Now, this can become a problem because part of competence is, are you going to, if I'm a rookie software engineer, are you going to be able to help me to become a better coder, a better programmer? Can I go to you when I got a bug I can't fix or to optimize my code? If I'm a salesperson, can I go to you to help me handle that tough objection? Whatever your role is, you often look to your boss to make you better in that domain area, in that subject matter area. But more and more often now, our managers, our bosses are not better than us, are not more experienced than us. In fact, big headline just this week was Ford announced their new CEO, and he's someone that didn't come up through the ranks of Ford or the automobile industry. I'm blanking right now what his background is in, but he's not an expert in automobiles. So a lot of times companies are going to put, and I think this is a good thing, they're going to put coaches into coaching positions. A classic mistake is, hey, Kevin is amazing at sales. He's one of our top salespeople. So let's yank him out of sales and make him a sales manager. And just because I'm good at sales doesn't mean I'm going to be great at hiring, at managing, at coaching, at performance reviews. And now you just lost your number one salesperson and might now have hurt a team who has a weak manager. So I wish all management jobs just had the word coach, because that's the skills we really want, not necessarily domain expertise. But I digress. Let's get to the meat of it. You've inherited a team, you've got a new job, and these are people who know more about that expert area, that domain expertise than you do. You're not getting the respect. You don't have the credibility. What do? Look, you don't need to be an expert, and they shouldn't expect for you to be an expert, but you do need to learn. So you got to put in an effort. Have them teach you. Spend the extra hours to get just a little bit dangerous in that domain area. But second, view yourself and explain that you're there to support them and to coach them to higher levels of performance. We know that the keys to employee engagement are growth, recognition, and trust. How can you help them to grow and develop? It doesn't mean you have to have the answers, but do you know where they want to go in their career? Will you fight for them? Will you put them on committees? Will you set them up with mentors? Will you get them coaches? Invest in their career. Recognition, a sincere thank you for a job well done. Trust, this is about future vision. Do they understand the bright future the organization has, that the department has, that their career choices are bright? Do they understand how their work aligns and supports the mission of the company? Growth, recognition, trust are the top 3 things you can do, even if you don't know their area of expertise. You can also help them every week. What do you plan? I talk to my team members. What's on your mind? They get it out. What do you want to do this week? What are you going to do this week? How can I help? Can I cut some red tape? Can I get you some more resources? Do you have the tools you need to succeed? So look, ideally, you are both a great coach and a subject matter expert. Increasingly, that's not the case, and it's okay. But if you find yourself put into this position, make everybody clear, look, I will learn as much as I can, and I'm not going to pretend to know your job better than your job. However, I'm here to coach you and to support you. And once you start focusing on growth, recognition, and trust, and every week ask how you can help, you'll win them over and gain their respect. On that note, I'm going to remind you to come back Monday, because we're going to start again. Monday's a holiday. It's Memorial Day here in the United States. We're hitting it on Monday anyway, and man, do we have a week. Some of my favorite people, I'm not joking, I'm not hyping. Andrew Sobel, New York Times bestselling author, about his book Power Questions, and he has specific questions to help you connect when you're networking, to open up sales calls, to take your client relationships to the next level. He even has some bonus questions that you can use on your teenagers, on your spouse, get a better family relationship going. We've got Kim Scott, author of Radical Candor, one of my new best professional friends. She was at Google, she was at Apple, she created the management training program at Apple. You don't want her to coach you? She created the management training program at Apple. It's total value bombs from Kim Scott. And the delightful Christy Mims, who's going to tell you, if you're wondering, here's how you find out your dream job, your dream career. And if you're not already doing it, this is what you can do to pivot into it. So that's it. It's Memorial Day weekend here in the United States. I hope you have a lot of fun. It's the official start of the summer. Get the grill out, have some time to recharge, relax, spend it with your family. And also, I hope you'll remember the true meaning of the holiday. Memorial Day used to be called Decoration Day because it was a day when everyone would bring flowers to the graves of soldiers who, have made the ultimate sacrifice. Over the years here in Bucks County, I've contributed a lot to make sure that there was no soldier's grave that did not have a wreath laid on it. Just contributed, thousands of wreaths to make sure there was no grave uncovered. So I hope you recharge and have a great weekend and be mindful of those who lost their lives defending their country. Here's to wholehearted leadership.